Here with the 6-time NHRA champ, 82 Wallies in this man's collection. Yes, you have rightfully earned the name legend, Mr. George Bryce.
Hey, Jack, thank you, man.
Great to be here. What I'm excited to talk to you about is you've really come full circle. You've opened up a new chapter in your race program. You're out in the NHRA for all those years, and now it is all about fast baggers, back to basics, smaller trailer, simplified life. Bring me up to speed on what's going on.
Well, the cool thing is, first time I've come by myself. I got a bike, I got a trailer. Jackie's coming tomorrow, it'll be fun. We got a match race tomorrow with a guy from Chicago. We're gonna run the best 2 out of 3 with the Harley Baggers. And you're right, this has been full circle for us. One thing that's really neat is, I'd love to share this, is the 82 wins were done with different drivers, maybe 11 different drivers. NHRA Pro Stock, we had a lot of chances to work with some great people, so I can't take the credit myself as being the 6-time champion, but I understand what you mean. My team, we won a lot of championships with a lot of people. The late great John Myers, which we all love, won 3 championships with us. The new big champ for the Harley team, Angel, raced with us for 8 years and won 3 championships with us. And a lot of that stuff gets kind of left off in history, and not by you. You do great bringing up history, but a lot of people forget the history, but we all know where we came from. And I'm very thankful to be able to be here at the 43rd Man Cup Finals this year. Is that amazing? 43 years?
It's amazing, and how fulfilling is it to see a motorcycle drag race this packed, telling everybody this sport is still alive and well, very much so.
Yep, and Jay asked me, and of course I've talked to you about it before, how can we incorporate this kind of deal? You know, and I'm like, well, this, you know how new this is. This is like 1 year old, and I got this really crazy idea. I saw a couple of guys had some fast baggers, and I was like, man, that is so us old guys. Maybe we need to get some of these, because it's hard to get, you know, millennials and the new kids and stuff involved in Harley Davidsons. Harley Davidson, the factory is struggling with that. They want new people involved and younger folks involved. But this is what the old folks do. We race a nitro Harley or we don't go. So this is the version of the nitro Harley now on gasoline, and we can actually fire it up and drive around, and you can ride it to work, and everything works. It's just fast.
What I love about this, and I do think that bagger racing is about to explode. I think you're at the forefront. I did an interview with Brett Kepner, and he talked about no matter how drag racing evolves, it always comes back to its core, which is 2 stock appearing vehicles lining up and to see which one is faster. And I think that's what's going on here. And you got a lot of speed shops and a lot of guys that are really smart like yourself, giving it everything they got. And I think it's going to be a real competitive, entertaining atmosphere.
Yeah, the Hogs Gone Wild, I got to give a shout out to Hogs Gone Wild. Roger Edgerton, he put on a Harley Davidson drag race at like just back to the roots in the woods in North Carolina, and we had, I don't know, we had 200 or 300 fast Harleys show up and a big crowd at Shady Side, and that just sparked him to try and put on 3 or 4 more races. So we went to Silver Dollar Raceway in October, and we had a good race there, and he's racing there again this year in February, and the finals will be in October. So what's cool about Hogs Gone Wild is that this kind of a little bit cooperates with the Man Cup, and Jay is interested in getting maybe 4 or 8 of these in a year from now to come and race at the Man Cup races. So it's fun. Hey, do a little quick tour and look at the bike with the logos and stuff.
Tell me about it.
Well,
tell me about
it. It's a 2013 Road King, and we took the engine and we replaced the cases S&S, and the thing looks like a stocker. It's got a stock primary and stock 6-speed, and I still run the hand clutch. This is a really cool air shifter that moves the lever. You know, when you push the button, I push the turn signal button here to make the shifter work, which that's awesome. And then of course I named it Bagzilla, which is a transformer. And hey, it's just got bags on it, man. Check it out.
How about that?
I can put my jacket, all my gear.
Still streetable?
Oh yeah.
So you can take this to your local bike night, no problem?
Absolutely.
That's cool.
It's fun for that.
I bet, for sure. Do you find that a lot of your pro stock knowledge carries over to this form?
Wow, that's a good question. I'm gonna say heck yeah, because once you figure out how to make a lot of horsepower per cubic inch, that's the hard part. Once you got that handle, I mean 300 horsepower, 400 horsepower, and somebody says, well, I want to run 91 octane, and I want to drive it on the street. Wow, all you got to do is dial back everything you learned, and you have such a leg up on the competition because you've already set the bar on horsepower per cubic inch, and all we have to do is turn down the cam timing, turn down the compression ratio, and just big airflow makes big power. And this is Pro Stock airflow.
That's awesome. It's a gorgeous motorcycle. So here's a question for you. I'm sure there are some things you miss about the NHRA Tour. We all love it. It's addicting. But I talked to Paul Gast. Paul tells me he's having more fun because he says he's not interested in dynoing for 3 weeks to find a quarter horsepower anymore. Are you having more fun with this, going back to basics?
Yes, fun for sure, because I have no stress this weekend. I don't care if somebody beats me. Yeah, I want to win, always. That's built into me, you know. I came hardwired from the factory trying to win. But as far as the prima donnas that you had to deal with in NHRA, where everybody was so important, you know, you end up, instead of being a great technician, you end up being a little bit of a butt kisser for everybody, you know. And oh my gosh, everybody's important. We all want to be important, but that's it's a different clientele. The guys that I helped in Pro Stock for all the years, it's hard to get back to being friends when you go in that war. And now my clients are friends, and we go to dinner and we have fun, and we're using disposable income rather than it just being a life or death treatment. Pro Stock seemed like if we didn't win, we were going to die. It was ridiculous, and
a lot of pressure out there.
It is, and I feel I would never tell somebody don't do it because I'm guilty of it and spent my whole life on it. But I wouldn't know what I know, and I wouldn't be who I am, and I wouldn't have had everything I've had if I hadn't worked that hard on it. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to be able to go and compete at that level and see the top, and then now it's just so much easier now, more fun. I've been smiling all day.
I gotta say congrats, because you had a heck of an accomplishment recently. You took down a sim who's been undefeated for 3, 4, 5 years. I mean, he has been the top dog in bagger racing. GMS and those guys, they're so tough. You figured out a way to beat him. How fulfilling was that?
That was neat. You know, he's a great promoter. His bike is really fast. Greg Dahl does a great job with those guys, and they put the effort into it like we did Pro Stock. And Asim spent money on it like we did Pro Stock, and he deserved to win all those races. But I don't know, I went and ran him the first time in Shadyside back in the spring, and he outran me, outperformed me, and I wasn't really prepared for that competition to be that good. He was better than I thought, and his bike was better than I thought. So I went home, and my guys worked hard. We found some power. I went and practiced, sort of perfected the craft a little bit, and then we went back and ran again, and now we're even, 1-1. So I guess we'll have a rematch.
I love it. The last thing I have for you here is, I know that you were an instructor at the George Bryce Frank Hawley drag racing school for many years. I had the opportunity to sit in. It was magical. It was so insightful. But we know that this beast is probably like nothing you have ever ridden before. Tell me about what the process has been like trying to learn how to ride one of these things.
Okay, great question again. The Pro Stocker deal, you know, you floor it and pop the clutch, and you have to set the clutch up, you know, before the run. And then in this bike, we adjust the clutch while we're running. So and also it wants to turn over backwards, and you have to shift on time.
Yeah.
And the guys with the Pro Street bikes were very similar to that, but they're so fast, and this thing weighs so much and it has so much brute torque that it really does a good job of making big adrenaline for me. It gets my blood pressure up, and the good Lord gave us some great drugs, adrenaline and endorphin. And this machine right here produces tons of adrenaline and tons of endorphin, and it just pumps me up. I can't wait to ride it again.
I love it. All right, so I got a big favor to ask. At your school, you talked about the mental routine and going over and over. Can I see your routine one time on the bike? Can I see how you practice? Because I'm very curious on what it's like to get one of these down the racetrack cleanly.
Okay. When I do my burnout and put it in low gear, and then I get ready to go, I'll roll in and turn the top light on, and then I'll get the throttle where I want it. This is like Pro Stock 1979, okay? This is exactly how we did it in Pro Stock in 79. Put the throttle up a little bit, I let the clutch out just enough to where I feel it pulling my feet, and then I hold everything right there, and then let it turn the stage light on, and But now I'm staring in the bulb, the top of the 3 that come on, and when the light flashes, I fire the clutch, throw the throttle on, and then I shift, go to the target, get my feet up, shift, shift, shift. And then when you get to the finish line, you roll up real careful, slide forward, pull in the clutch, and start pumping the brakes and slow down. And it's a rush. I'm 65 years old, and that's a rush.
That's church right there. That's a clinic. I love it. Absolutely wonderful. And I heard you say something too. We're giving a little insight into people that have never been to your school. I was going to ask you, do you still look for a target?
Absolutely.
In any form of drag racing?
You have to.
You used to find a target at the end of the track.
Yep, because if you look in front of you, you run over it, and you have to find another one. You run over it, and you find another one. You run over it, and find another one. And if you're not perfectly lined up, you end up going like this all the way down the track, finding a target. If you have none, then you use your peripheral, and the wall's in one, and the center line's in the other, and you're driving around it. We see people that race now that drive like that. And if the bike is fast enough, you're going to hit something before you correct, or you're going to go in the other lane before you correct. So the target at the end is probably one of the best things that's ever been discussed on making nice laps.
What's your all-time best DT in speed?
Great question. Again, I think 714 or something on a Pro Stock Bike, maybe.
How about on this machine?
Oh, 935 at 146
Woo!
On this one. And at 880 pounds with me on it, it feels like I'm going in the 6s. It really does. It is fun.
Quite a rush, huh?
It's a rush.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're having fun. We'll encourage everybody to check out Star Power. Now, here's the last question. Is it still a hybrid of Star Racing, Star Power, or are we strictly Star Power? I call you Star Power, but I see everywhere I go, oh, though you got the Star Power shirt on, I still see a lot of Star Racing everywhere.
Yeah, it is. And what I call it now is Star Racing Power.
Ah, I like it.
Yeah, Star Racing Power, because it's got all the history and the new stuff. So it really is Star Racing Power.
Very cool. Well, good luck in your match race. We'll be there to check it out.
All right, man. Thank you for all you do, Jack.
Thank you, George. I appreciate it, man. Always a pleasure. Always great talking to you.
Thank you, brother.